Hey, should we just start the show?
Sure.
That was a beautiful intro. All right, welcome to the Mobile Woodshed. I'm joined today by a music legend, a guitar legend, Mr. Chuck Sullivan. And thank you so much for doing this.
Well, thank you, Noah. Glad to be here, buddy.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
We're going to dig into some signature tunes that Chuck played on and a little bit about his story. So here we go.
I took a few notes because my memory is not what it used to be, but this is something to remind me of how things came about.
Beautiful.
You know,
we're on the same wavelength.
Playing, yeah.
We're on the same wavelength. So I was going to start out just asking you, you know, where are you originally from?
I was born and raised here in Covington, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And started out playing in a Covington club called the Birdland. It was a couple doors up from the Frisch's at 8th and Madison.
Yeah.
It was like a basement club. And that's where I started playing with a band I put together.
Sure. What year would have this?
That would have been 1965.
1965.
Yeah. And I was 23 years old then.
Goodness. So when did you actually start playing guitar?
Probably probably about when I was about 15.
Yeah, yeah.
I learned kind of like playing along with Dwayne Eddy records, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because his style was so simple, and it held my interest, and it gave me a feeling of accomplishment.
Yes.
You know, I'm able to play along with all of his records, you know.
Yeah, Rebel Rouser.
Right, all of his stuff.
Yeah.
He had so many records and albums back in them days, and he probably sold more records than any other guitar player. That's including Chet Atkins and all of them, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he had million-seller albums.
Those great single line.
Even Chet Atkins didn't have that kind of sales record, you know.
Yeah.
But he had top 10 hit after hit after hit. You know, when you're in the top 10, you're making big bucks.
You're doing all right.
Back in those days, you know.
Was that the first music that you remember that drew you into wanting to play guitar?
Yes, it was really. And it,
just
like
coming on the radio? Just being
records and radio, yes. And being able to play along with your guitar hero, you know. Like I said, his style was so simple.
Right.
And it was easy for me to keep my interest in what he was doing.
Beautiful.
But then I got into the blues style.
What pulled you there?
Basically Lonnie Mack.
Lonnie Mack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came. I used to go see him play when I was in my teens. I would sneak in some of these clubs and I would see him.
Is this Cincinnati or?
Yeah, Cincinnati clubs. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask too. That's beautiful. What was your first guitar that you bought, or were you given one? Or?
My grandmother co-signed me a guitar with Willis Music in Cincinnati, and it was a Gretsch 6120. It was kind of like what Dwayne Eddy used, you know.
Right.
And I had a Gibson amp with a separate reverb unit that you hook a couple little plugs onto the speakers, and that give you the reverb sound.
Right.
And the vibrato and tremolo.
Oh, that must have knocked you out when you plugged that guitar in, and it sounded like Dwayne. You know?
Yeah.
So you're going to see Lonnie Mack, and that was the gateway to the blues, you'd say?
Pretty much, yeah. And I got to where I was learning all of his instrumentals at that time. And then I got a call from a guy named Bill Bowman, and his stage name was Beau Dollar.
Okay.
And he had a band called Beau Dollar and the Coins.
Right.
And he was playing 6 nights a week over on Walnut Street, Cincinnati.
Drummer?
Drummer, singer, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was 4 of us. And he had just hired 2 members of Lonnie Mack's band, Bill Jones, bass player, and Wayne Bullock, organ and keyboard.
Yes, sir.
And it used to be Lonnie Mack's bass man, and then he switched to B3 organ when they got traveling on the road doing all those one-nighters with Lonnie.
That's right.
And they just got wore out with the road.
Sure.
Doing one-nighters.
Understandable.
And they called Beau. Beau had done some work with Lonnie. So Beau, I had never met them, but I had seen them play with Lonnie, you know. So we're playing at the Blue Angel, downtown Cincinnati.
Okay.
On Walnut Street.
No longer there, I imagine. Or,
Right,
yeah.
no longer there. And we were playing 6 nights a week. And I walk in, I see an organ up there, and I said, Beau, who's the organ going to be? And he said, you'll see. And I got a surprise when in walks Wayne Bullock.
Oh, man.
And then
yeah.
in walked Bill Jones. So it's Lonnie Mack's band without Lonnie, you know.
Right, so you're walking into your hero's band almost, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to play Lonnie Mack's instrumentals with the actual guys that recorded them with him, you know.
That is a
I
rare...
did about a dozen of his instrumentals.
That's a rare
Yeah.
story right there.
Well, because Beau, he was the only singer, and we're playing 6 nights, and he couldn't blow out his voice, you know. He encouraged us to do a lot of instrumentals.
Great. So like Wham?
All
of them.
Lonnie's stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And Wayne did a lot of Jimmy McGriff organ and Jimmy Smith organ stuff, you know. So we're in that bag of playing organ, blues, soul music, you
Doesn't
know.
get more fun than
Plus
that.
the instrumentals with Lonnie's stuff.
Oh, man.
And right, you know, it didn't get no better than that for me.
And with you on guitar, it had to be dynamite.
Yeah, it was fun, yeah. You know, I was in heaven, you know, playing with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Wayne, he did some work at King Records with maybe Freddie King as well.
Right, yeah.
And at what point, did you do some session work at King?
We did some there, yes.
Yeah.
Different artists that would come in that didn't have their own bands.
You guys would
And we
show
would
up.
back them up, you know, doing that stuff. And then we did some work there. I got to meet James Brown there.
Right.
And got to do some work with James Brown
Because
at King Records.
his band for a time was the Daps that Beau Dollar was part
Yes,
of? Okay, yeah. Yeah. How was that meeting James for the first time?
Oh, it was awesome, you know. He had just had a blow up with a band that fired him. And we were in the studio that day. It was me, Wayne, Jonesy, and James Brown playing organ.
Oh, wow.
So we did a few songs with them, and we did a song for Bobby Bird, which was a really good friend of James Brown.
Kind of his right-hand
They grew
man.
up together,
Yeah.
you know. And we did a song called Hang Ups.
Oh, yeah?
Hang ups we don't need, hunger we've got to feed.
Oh, yeah.
It was a message song that James Brown had wrote for Bobby to record.
Yeah.
And James at that time was doing those kind of songs
Sure.
with the
a message.
message for black people, you know.
Beautiful.
To promote blackness and
He was a
and
trailblazer.
what they were doing, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you remember how that tune went at all, or? And it's okay if not. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No,
Wow.
It
I
was
love that
basically
line.
doing those kind of riffs.
Right.
But basically, then it had a bridge, but I can't remember it at this time.
That's a beautiful
It's
line.
been so long.
Yeah,
know,
no,
since
but
we've
thank
done
you. I love the
that stuff,
example.
yeah.
Yeah, so but you're playing with Beau Dollar, and I read that you guys would play rooms like, was it the Wagon Wheel and the Ranch, where maybe was it Harry Carlson that came in and saw you guys and thought he needed to
He
record?
saw us at the Blue Angel downtown.
Okay.
And he wanted us to go into the studio and record. I had showed Beau this song that I wanted to do.
You kicked this off.
It was
Yeah.
called Soul Serenade. And it was a little different than the original.
The original.
I showed it to Beau, and he said, well, I like it, but I want it to be more of a shuffle.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of made it go into our version of Soul Serenade.
Right. Originally by King Curtis.
King Curtis,
Yeah.
saxophone player in New York.
Yeah.
He was basically, back in the 60s and 50s, there was a guy named Alan Freed that did these big rock and roll package shows, and King Curtis was the musical director for the band and all that stuff that backed up all these top entertainment acts of the time.
Right.
And they traveled around the country
Amazing.
doing these shows, you know.
Wow. Wow.
So, like I said, I showed Beau that song, and he wanted to make a shuffle out of it.
I was gonna add the original, the guitar player on the original, is it Cornell Dupree? Well, I wasn't
No,
sure.
it was. I think it was really Billy Butler.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh, wow, even cooler.
And then Cornell Dupree did some with it too.
Yeah, also
they
great.
used both of them, but originally King Curtis used Billy Butler for the guitar work, and around that time it was when he hired Cornell Dupree to start doing stuff on his records.
Wow, wow. So you show Beau this tune, and he's like, yeah, this would be great. Let's kick it into a shuffle feel, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for the flip side, Beau sang a song called Any Day Now
Right.
by Chuck Jackson. Singer had made a big hit of it back in the 50s.
Yeah.
And Beau wanted to sing that. And then we did an alternate song
Oh, I didn't know this.
called I've Just Got to Forget You.
I'm not hip to that
Bobby
yet.
Blue Bland song.
Oh, well, I met Bobby a long time ago. Yeah, that's I didn't realize that there was a third tune there.
It's on the internet. We posted it on the internet. You can find it.
Great.
And there's some good pictures of Beau and the band and myself
Yeah.
that somebody posted
Great.
when they put
I'll
that
find
song up
those.
there.
I was gonna ask because I know it sounded like Harry wanted to record you at King, but it was booked, so you wound up at a different studio in Louisville.
Louisville studio, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the studio.
Sambo?
That's
Okay.
it, Sambo Records.
And I read you pulled in and you saw a Cadillac.
Pulled in, and it was Lonnie's Cadillac. It said, I can't remember, it said
Wham,
Flying
man.
V or something, Wham or something on it, on the license plate.
Wow.
And I said, hey, Beau, that's Lonnie's car. He said, yeah, he's going to be engineering the session. So I didn't realize that at the time. So I walked in the studio,
Jeez.
and there's Lonnie up there at the controls, you know. So we did a sound check, and my magnetone amp had been in a car wreck and got bounced around,
Yeah.
and it was having an issue of like cutting in and out.
Right.
So Lonnie says, let's go get my amp. I got it in the trunk of the car. So he always kept a small magnetone amp in the trunk that he used to preamp into his bigger amps when he played live.
I didn't know that.
So he would preamp that magnetone amp into a showman head
Wow.
through two basement bottoms.
Wow, I had no idea.
So you had that magnetone sound coming through that Fender equipment
It must
10
have
times
sound,
louder.
surround sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He could play any club he wanted to
Yeah.
with that setup, you know.
So you got his amp now, and were you still playing the Gretsch?
No, at that time I had a Gibson Talfardo model
Oh,
that I had custom ordered in a natural blonde.
and that's what we hear on the record.
That's what you hear on the record. I got it in a blonde guitar because I always wanted the blonde arch top. Didn't like the sunburst ones at that time. And I wanted the blonde because that's what kind of like Scotty Moore played.
Yeah.
And my favorite guitar players, the jazz guys, you know.
Yeah.
And I thought it was classier looking to have a blonde guitar.
Absolutely. So you guys cut this record, and it gets some serious traction, and
Well, it got airplay in Cincinnati and Hamilton area,
yeah.
and it got played up on the East Coast pretty well, but they didn't distribute the record up on the East Coast. They dropped the ball at Fraternity Records
Right.
by not getting this distributed where it was getting airplay. So it just basically got airplay around this area, and it took off real well.
But somehow King Curtis heard it, right?
Right, he heard it, and he called me,
Wow.
and I called him back and got his message and called him because he was at the studio doing a session at that time.
Yeah.
And the secretary said, well, he will call you back later on this evening. So I got a call, and he asked me, he said he really liked what I did with his song because we rearranged it, did it more of a shuffle out of it.
Yeah.
And he liked my guitar playing and my style. He played guitar a little bit himself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but he said he really liked what I did with his song, and would I be interested in coming to New York to audition for his band.
Goodness
He
gracious.
said I would only have to play a few songs,
Sure.
and he could tell whether I would work for his group.
Right.
So I said, well, I got to call you back about this.
Okay.
Got to discuss it with my wife.
Sure.
So we had just gotten married about 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
My ex-wife now.
Okay. Yeah.
We had just gotten married. She said, no way am I going to go to New York to live.
Yeah, I could
So
see that.
it was either go to New York and lose my marriage or stay here.
You were standing at the crossroads for sure.
Yeah. So I called him back and
Yeah.
I told him what had happened
Yeah.
with the wife, and he said, well, I hate to hear that, but the offer's always open,
That's kind.
and if you ever want to come up and play with me,
You're welcome.
you just let me know. I'll get you up here, and we'll do the interview and see how it goes.
That's beautiful. Well, I have a question, and I don't know how things worked chronologically and on the timeline, but I know later the Allman Brothers started doing Soul Serenade with Dwayne doing the melody.
I'm not sure when they did it.
Yeah, a little later, and I just can't help but think that he heard your take on it, because it has that little line in there, which I'd love for you to play, reminds me of the Allman Brothers. Yeah.
Of course, we did a.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've got your magnetone in the box there. Beautiful. It's wild too. I didn't realize I've tried to learn this tune at home, and that when you go to that D bar chord, you keep the root intact, the A, the low A, yeah, which gives this full body thing. That's beautiful. And that solo is so ripping. You just come out swinging. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it went over really good around town here, and a lot of guitar players learned our version of it, you know.
Yeah. So, and then that B-side, I think I ran into at a guitar store, Mike's other store in Newport, and you mentioned that you almost like the B-side more, or you really dug. Is it Any Day Now?
Yeah. Well, not especially. I Just Gotta Forget You.
Right. Oh, okay.
I like that better than him singing Any Day Now.
Yeah. Could you play a little that tune, and it's okay if not.
See, I'm trying to remember.
I'm putting you on the spot. It's not fair.
Yeah, it's been
okay.
so long.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah,
But that is on YouTube, you know.
I'm gonna find it and I'll share it with everybody. But so, you know, I was looking at, you know, you've been busy in the last few years. Are you with? Is it Surfboard Records now?
No, that was his outfit down in Florida.
Okay.
That posted me up doing a live thing down in Florida at a club, you know.
Honoring what you do, and because I first met you via Bill Holsizer, and you came down. We did that show at Fountain Square with another legend who's unfortunately no longer with us, Philip Paul,
yeah.
And I interviewed him on another episode, but I remember that night. You did a rendition of the theme from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I loved it. It reminded me a bit of a Dwayne Eddy kind of take on it, you know?
Yeah.
And once again, I don't want to put you on the spot, but... Beautiful. That's killer. Yeah. That is killer. And so that's totally...
And basically, when I do that out live, I go...
Secret Agent Band? Yeah. Killer.
Basically,
oh, I love it. Yeah, and I've seen a few clips of you doing a beautiful rendition of Sleepwalk, the Santo and Johnny classic.
Yeah.
It just your touch and tone on that stuff is people don't play like that anymore, and just the feeling that you put into that melody, I love, you know. But so this is a new guitar, right?
Yeah, I just bought this not too long ago. They got another one like it hanging up at Mike's Music downstairs. I think got it up on the wall.
It's gorgeous.
But yeah,
I love that color.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know, seafoam green or
seafoam green. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's got the locking tuners, and it's got a cutaway heel there too. Gives you better access, you know.
It looks great on you, man. That is a Chuck Sullivan guitar.
I'm real happy with it. Yeah.
And you've been using a new amplifier too.
I bought a deluxe reverb transistor.
Transistor. I'm not hip to those yet.
Yeah. And it sounds just like an old deluxe. I mean, It's super lightweight. You pick it up one hand, go like that with it.
Oh man,
I mean, it's
I'm in.
unbelievable.
I'm sick of carrying heavy stuff, so I'll check these out.
You gotta check it out. It's great.
And I want to bug you too about your. So obviously you don't lug around a magnetone anymore, but you have a few pedals that get you there.
Yeah.
And I remember the Magna Vibe you had when we first met.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it. This is the Killer V.
Killer V, is that the company? Do you know the company, or I can find it if not? It's really cool looking. It's got a T Model Ford or something on the front. Yeah, that's cool. It sounds great.
Crazy Tube Circuits.
There you go.
I don't know if that's the company or not.
I think it is. That's beautiful. Man, it sounds like the real thing.
It's as close as I've ever heard.
It'll probably not break up on you when you're traveling. Well, cool. I really appreciate you sharing your time, and this is already just a beautiful episode. So thank you. And I've got one more question, and that would be, would you come up and play with my band some night? We've got a horn section, and maybe we could do Soul Serenade together?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, this summer, let's do it.
Okay.
I appreciate you,
We
Chuck.
definitely look forward to doing that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, thank you.